Welcome back to episode 12 of the racing show. Newmarket last week, just the one winner in Top Gear at 8-1. Puts us to plus 12.5 points so far on the season. We've got Ascot Champions Day on Saturday, 4 Group 1s and a Group 2 to get stuck into. I'm going to put up a selection in all 5 races, so let's get stuck in. Starting off with the 210, it's the Long Distance Cup. This is the Group 2, which is then followed by 4 Group 1s. Kyprios leads the market here. He's had a flawless campaign this year. Looked miles better than he did last year when he came a narrow second in this race to Trawlerman, who reopposes her. I think Kyprios, just keep it simple here. He caps off the perfect season. Whether he'll train on next season, not too sure, but there's no reason why he can't. The only time I'm ever really kind of nervous about Kyprios is when it's super deep ground and over more than 2 miles. So say, for example, an Ascot Gold Cup on soft or heavy ground might not be exactly what I want. So I do think he does prefer slightly better ground. And 2 mile plus is fine, but obviously the further the distance, the less you want it to be that really testing ground. It should only be softer. It's the minimum 2 mile trip. I just think he's so much better than all of these. He's far better horse than he was this time last year when Trawlerman only just managed to beat him. Nothing new's coming out of the pack. Keep it simple. Kyprios wins on the big days. He's Aiden's winning most Group 1 horse now, so yeah, he'll certainly take this Group 2 in his stride, I think, if he turns up and runs. The second race of the day is the Sprint Stakes over 6 furlongs. Usually look for one with a bit of Ascot form coming into this. Maybe ran it in the Commonwealth Cup or something like that as a 3-year-old at the Royal Ascot meeting. As it looks like it's probably going to be soft ground this year, I have just tended to look at ones that confirms stay on soft ground. And I think the one that I was most interested in, especially at the prices, is Elite Status. There's no way it'd be 20-1 if he hadn't come 8th of 16 in the Sprint Stakes at Haydock last time. That race at Haydock is actually a really good pointer to this race. A lot of beaten horses go on to win this race. It's a completely different track layout, suits completely different style of horses. So don't be put off at all by the fact that he won his first 2 and then kind of dropped down a level and only came 8th of 16 last time. He gets his ground here. He definitely prefers softer ground. He's already won a listed and a Group 3 race at Newbury this year. I think he can improve. He should have run in the Commonwealth Cup, but he was pulled out on the day, and that race was actually won by Connections in Sharon. I think Elite Status is better than 20-1 in this field, especially on this ground. I'd make him about half the price. So Elite Status, 20-1 each way is going to be the bet in the Sprint Stakes. The next race is the Fillies and Mares Stakes over 1 mile, 3.5 furlongs. This is a race that 3-year-olds have tended to dominate a lot in the recent years, so I'd definitely be looking towards them. A lot of the winners of this actually ran at the Arc meeting but may be disappointed, which is why they turned up to this one. And Content certainly fits that kind of description. Was dropped down in trip for her race at Longchamp at the Arc meeting. Came 10th of 11, only beating 1 rival, but was actually only 6.5 lengths behind the winner. So it wasn't a bad run. It was a slight regression from what we've seen before, but she was stepping up in trip every time. We had her for the Yorkshire Oaks, and she won that. So she was improving every time she was going up in trip. I think they should keep her at 1 mile 4, which is what they've done here. She's currently 7-1. It might be a bit of a weak renewal of this race. And yeah, Ryan Moore and Aidan O'Brien can definitely take advantage of a weak renewal. The next race is the third Group 1 of the day. It's the QE2 over a mile. I think Henry Longfellow looks quite overpriced. He's run in all the big races this season, all the Group 1s. He's been quite unlucky not to win one, narrowly being beaten a neck by Rosalian at the Royal Ascot Festival. So he's got good Ascot form already in the book from the season. His Damn Minding was the last filly to win this race for Aidan O'Brien. And this 3-year-old is certainly still improving in my eyes. And I think Ascot suits him, as we saw. I think soft ground can definitely be a help to him. He's run twice in France already in his career. So they definitely think at home that he suits the softer ground. This could just be all the chips falling in the right spot here for Henry Longfellow, who looks quite big to me at 14-1, considering he was only beaten 4 and a bit lengths in the Group 1 Jacques Le Marois last time, which was only about a length behind Sharon, who's, short price favourite for this. Not quite sure the price discrepancy between the two of them, especially considering Henry Longfellow gets £3 off Sharon. So yeah, Henry Longfellow in the QE2 at 350, out 14-1 each way. Moving on to the fourth and final Group 1 and the fifth race we're going to have a look at today is the Champions Stakes over 1 mile, 2 furlongs. Buzzing for this race, can't wait for it. 2 horses that probably should have been running the Arc but couldn't or decided not to, in Calandagan and Economics. We put Calandagan up for the Judgment when he was narrowly beaten by City of Troy. That form right now is looking ridiculously good. City of Troy is going to go off favourite for a dirt race at the Breeders' Cup. Blue Stocking was 4th that day and obviously won the Arc last time out. Calandagan was 2nd. He's unfortunately not a colt, so couldn't run the Arc, else I assume he probably would have. I think his last 2 runs are 2 of the most impressive runs I've seen this season. I think his Ascot run was just savage. He was, by far one of the more impressive horses I've seen in a long time, especially at that meeting. And he kind of vindicated my opinion when running down City of Troy, probably the closest horse to do so far this season. So I think he's an absolute weapon. The fact that we've got the ground here is a massive plus. He'll be absolutely fine on anything soft. More rain is probably ideal for us here. And the French actually have a really good record in this race at this meeting. As I said before, the ground usually goes in their favour by this time of the year, and they send over their best horses, and that's exactly what we've got here. Calandagan is one of the best horses in training right now. He is one of the best 3-year-olds. He might be the best 3-year-old. Probably not because City of Troy, but he is, without doubt, he's up there. This is going to be one of my biggest bets of the flat calendar. It's an easy choice for me. It's Calandagan, 3.5 point win selection on Calandagan, just to round off our bets. So we've got Kyprios in the first, but no bet advised in the single. We'll pop that in a double with Calandagan for a point. Then we'll go Elite Status, 20-1 each way. Content, 7-1 to win, 1 point win. Who was the next one? We've got 14-1 Henry Longfellow each way. That's half a point each way, which makes us 1 point on the double, point on Elite Status, point on Henry Longfellow, point on Content. So 3.5 point win on Calandagan at 6-4. So that means if you usually bet a tenner, I'd say put 35 quid on this. If you usually bet 100, put 350 quid on this. I'm very confident, probably the most confident bet I'll be placing for a good amount of time. So that's kind of the roundup of Champions Day. 7.5 points for the weekend, 3.5 on Calandagan. 4 spread out across the other 4 races. So best of luck. Up the bet.